Hello guys, what's up? Here to talk about a fucking amazing album. So, here we go. This is The Horror by Tribulation. Now, if you haven't seen my two previous videos, then I'm doing a Tribulation discography review. And from the beginning of me, starting to listen to these albums over, or just releases over, and just picking them apart and figuring out what really made me like them. Well, I was just I went through the first fucking demo by Hazard, the first demo, and the EP, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty good shit. I like it. And I was just, getting fucking, excited just to re-listen to this and, write down what I actually thought of it. And, The Horror by Tribulation is such a fucking killer album. If you've not heard this, go check it out. Just fucking I'll leave a link to the full album if there's one on YouTube that I can find in the description. You go check it out. And then come back if you want to. I don't fucking care. But really, this album is too fucking good to be ignored by people who like death metal, who like death thrash. If you like death thrash but you can't get into death metal, you'll still fucking enjoy this. And maybe even if you like black metal, it might be a bit of a stretch, but you might be able to get into this. So yeah, let me just get into the actual music. Now, this was released January 19th, 2009. Older album. This is over 7 years old now, which is kind of insane. Hard to think that people almost consider this a fucking classic, and it's not even a decade old. And seeing a label like Pulverized Records put this out, I can see why these guys never got huge exposure in their time. I can understand why I never really heard much about these guys until Children of the Night came out. And that's like when Children of the Night came out, I heard a lot of fucking hype around it. Mike Seatown reviewed it, and then I also seen that the Pitch Control was with one of his mates, and he purchased a vinyl and stuff like that. This is an album that's been talked about, and it's kind of been pitched around the metal scene a lot. People saying, fuck this band because they changed their sound, and then people on the other side, polar opposite, saying, I fucking love this new sound. I don't even care what they left behind. Holy shit, this is the best shit ever. In my opinion, I love both fucking eras. And for almost totally different reasons, but I do love both eras. So let me get into what I like about this album, and we can talk about the newer shit when I get the other fucking shit reviewed. So the first song, Into the Jaws of Hell, a little key intro, really does set you up for what's going to be smashing you in the fucking face when you get past it, and then you go right into Crypt of I think it's Thanatophilia or Thanatophilia. That's just a fucking heavy-ass death thrash, death metal song that just punches you right in the fucking face, and it's basically knocks you on the floor, and for the next fucking 30 minutes, you're just fucking goddamn sucker punched in the face over and over, every fucking time a new song comes in. The same thing with, Curse of Resurrection, fast and unrepentant as fuck. You move on to Beyond the Horror, heavy, astounding fucking guitar work and drum work and vocal work. Every riff is quality shit. There's not a riff on this fucking album that you're like, fuck this is pretty boring, and fuck, I can't really, enjoy this death metal generic as poop. No, this is fucking, fucking great. Every riff is, got that kind of intricacy that you really want. You move on to the Vampire, the fifth track, headbanging and kicking the shit out of your friends while you, fucking mosh around your, fucking party room, or you fucking sit down to the bar and fucking bash your forehead off the bar as you fucking headbang this, you move on to Sacrilegious Darkness and the sixth track, and you keep hearing this fucking awesome sound, and then you move into Spawn of the Jackal. Once again, you get that fucking awesome death thrash sound that doesn't really let up. And then you move on to one of the fucking best, I love the song title, Seduced by the Smell of Rotten Flesh. Really fucking cool song title. You get into that song, you're just fucking getting the guitar riffs and drums that smack you right across the face. And Graveyard Ghoul is the last song. Makes me think of the death metal band Graveyard Ghoul. Too bad I didn't have my cassette here to be like, Graveyard Ghoul, huh? But no, that song is just really fucking awesome as well. There's not one moment on this, this is only a 30-minute album with 9 tracks, so each track is pretty short, but they're still 3 to 5 minutes. But there's never a moment where I'm like, this fucking song sounds 3 minutes, this song sounds 4 minutes, this song sounds 5 minutes, every song sounds a fucking minute long. because you're like, this is so fucking good. You get lost in it, you're just like, this is too fucking goddamn amazing. And, you know, to see what they went from their EP in 2006, which was really, really good. I did like that, and I liked the sound that they had. And they basically said, let's make that our rock-a-rolla. Let's make that our fucking, you know, album that nobody gives two fucks about. You know, let's make that an album that, or this release that everyone's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? They release shit before this album? Like, this is too fucking good. You get distracted by how amazing this is. And, you know, you look at the artwork, you got this fucking, witch, zombie, both, screaming and reaching up at you with a fucking, I believe that's a 4-fingered hand. I don't know. Under the she's under the Tribulation logo. The old Tribulation logo, gotta admit, the best Tribulation logo. I like the new one, but the old one looks really fucking cool. And it's like circled up by fucking barbed wire, and there's like red in the spaces that aren't circled up by barbed wire. And, you know, I like the way that they got the whore just like smacked into the bottom on that album cover. Looks really cool. And, you know, you look at this album, it's amazing. There's not a bad song, there's not a bad moment where you're just like, maybe I can skip this track. If you try to skip a track on this album while I'm fucking around you, either hands are getting broken, or you don't want to fucking do that. You just don't want to fucking do that. I'll rip the fucking skip button off. There you go. The only skip button is to go back and restart the track over. And you might say, oh, he's fucking fanboying over this album. Yeah, kind of. I fucking really like this album. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Really awesome album. Really, you know, they went from being a band that, you know, people might have talked about and say, oh, this is pretty alright, you know, I can jam into this with their EP. And then they basically went to, everyone should know about this. Your grandmother should be given a copy of this album. You know, like fucking Bill down the street that you don't talk to. Like, give him a copy of this album. Your fucking geometry teacher, you know, give him a copy. Maybe he'll fucking like it. Well, if he doesn't, he's a fucking idiot. You know, kind of one of them albums where it really is that great. And I can say that this wasn't promoted a lot, and this was not talked about a lot in my presence, because, you know, I kind of, you know, pride myself in being a guy who's like always got my finger on the pulse, trying to look up new bands, going back into the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, looking for awesome bands that are playing in this kind of old school style, and just figure out that I never knew about these guys up until, like, you know, their newest album came out. I was kind of like, what the fuck, what have I been doing with my life? I kind of kicked myself in the ass over that. But, you know, thanks to people like Mike Seatown and, you know, Curtis from the Pitch Control, you kind of get introduced into some really awesome shit. Now, I knew about these guys when the newest album came out, like, maybe a week after, but, you know, it's good to be able to get into these guys and, you know, enjoy the fuck out of them. So that's all I gotta say, guys, about this amazing album. If you, like I said, if you're a fan of, you know, death metal, you know, the heavier side of thrash metal, or even black metal, you can get into this. It's just, it's kind of an acquired taste, like most fucking releases. So that's all I gotta say. I'm gonna give this a 96 out of 100, the highest score I've ever given an album. Expect some more, you know, like 90s, like, you know, up in the 90s albums. It's just that I kind of always feel like, you know, weary about giving an album anything higher than, you know, a 90, because those are albums that, you know, when I'm fucking 80 years old, if somebody says, oh, what album do you want to listen to before you die? Maybe, like, you know, the things that I rated over 95 out of 100, that would be fucking on that list somewhere. But, you know, I really do think this is an awesome album, and it's worth a listen. So that's all I gotta say, guys. I'm gonna leave you with that. 96 out of 100. Go check them the fuck out. If you like this album, you might like the next album. It's a little bit different. And if you like this album, you even may like Children of the Night, but, you know, that depends on your preference and all that great shit. So yeah, peace fuck out, guys, and have an awesome day.